There are seriously way too many options and varieties when it comes to the world of rooftop tents. And honestly, how do you know which one is right for you? Well, for this video, we're going to take a deep look at 3 different models of rooftop tents and see what they can offer.
Hello, my name is Joe Hunt. We run Nomad Overlanding, do a lot of teaching and things like that. So we're here today to talk about our tent. It's a hard shell clam shell, and we've had it for several years now. It's been to Alaska, it's been from Mexico to Canada. It's been a lot of miles so far, and it's our favorite tent. This is our 3rd rooftop tent. We had a TJM, full unfolding, that type of style, and then also a Tepui that we bought used, and ended up we found this one. They're a little bit pricey, but if you use them a lot, depending on what you want to do, if you're just going to go from time to time, then don't buy a tent that maybe costs so much. You can find ones that are less costly out there. But this one works for us very, very well. It's easy to set up. It's very comfortable. And these run about, I think they were $4,000 to $4,500 at the time. And I don't know that they're that much more now. You'd have to look them up to be sure. But we've certainly got our money's worth out of it so far. It takes very little time to set them up. They're not the perfect tent out there, I don't imagine, but what you see is what you get for the size of footprint. And as opposed to some of the other types of tents that unfold and you get a little bit bigger area to sleep in or to put gear in, that type of thing. Our mattress and all of our bedding and everything stays right inside. My wife uses a CPAP to sleep at night, so the tent is also wired with power. We got a battery in the trailer that is powered with solar, so we can charge camera equipment, phones, run her CPAP at night. It works really quite well, and so far we've been very, very happy with it. We do move it from the trailer from time to time to the truck, so it just takes a little bit of effort and some different size bolts for clamping it onto the roof rack. You know, this is a Bush Company tent. Also, the awning is a 270 awning. It's also produced and made by Bush Company. They're made in South Africa, but they're sold out of Australia. Once you get it up, crawl inside, like say the footprint, you can see the tent, it's going to stay that footprint. So it's going to sleep 2 people comfortably. If you have a small child, possibly. But that's one of the drawbacks on this particular style of tent, is that it doesn't expand the room inside. There's also electrical connections on the inside. This particular tent is also double walled, so even on a day like today, if it was cooler, you could zip up both layers of material and it's just as dark as night. You'd never know that the sun was shining, which works very well up in Alaska or someplace like that where you have so much daylight. In the cold weather, we've been camping up in Jasper National Park up in Canada. Realized that things all of a sudden got very, very quiet, and actually we ended up in a snowstorm. We got 6 inches of heavy wet snow overnight. So when we got up, that's what greeted us in the morning. We had everything all zipped up, so we pulled the zippers down. It's like, oh man. And my wife, first thing she says, oh, it's beautiful out there. So sometimes, depending on what your jobs are, you kind of view things a little bit differently. But anyone who is serious about overlanding, if you can spend enough time in this particular tent or other tents of same or equal value, as long as you feel you're getting your value out of that tent, that's fine. If you have to spend a night in a motel, you're not going to find any motels for less than $100 anymore. So for the price of the tent, we've more than gotten our money's worth out of it. Like we tell some of our folks in our workshops, you don't want to skimp on tents, sleeping bags, and that type of materials, because you want to be dry, you want to be warm, and you want to be comfortable, so that your trips and your adventures are going to be that much more enjoyable. So there are things that you can kind of skimp on and save some money on, but I would not skimp on your tents, whether it's a ground tent or a rooftop tent, and it just depends on the style. We've got several friends that have different styles that are sometimes in the same ballpark for price, and that's fine. We have put ours away many times in the snow and the rain, so it can be kind of a job sometimes, or even the wind. Where this one, I feel that it really puts away very easily. And if you have one person kind of setting up camp and the other one is doing some other things, then it's, for one person, it's very easy, very convenient.
Obviously, you guys have seen this tent quite a bit on this channel, and it's actually Tony's old tent. And we picked this thing up for about $500 used. Don't expect to get it at that price, but it is highly underestimated to get your tent used. Facebook Marketplace has got a medley of different options and price ranges available for you. And for 500 bucks to get up off the ground, to not be sleeping on the ground in a ground-based tent is a game changer. Even if we have our mattresses that let us sleep down there, it's still way different with just the security of it. It's the peace of mind you get from actually sleeping up in the air is just another safety precaution when it comes to wildlife out there, or not having raccoons come and messing with your tent. It's way different for an animal to come up and start messing with the vehicle itself when you know that you're not on the ground with only paper thin tent material between you and them. I believe this is CVT's Pioneer tent. It is the small, so it's good for 2 people and a small dog or child. So I would say this tent is probably 8 years old, and it has stood the test of time fairly well, and it has seen an extreme amount of use. You could tell on the canvas siding that all the letters are faded. It's seen a lot of action, and we only have one small little issue, and that's at the front of it where the stitching on the zipper has come undone. The adventures that this tent has taken, it's no big surprise, but the fact that we can still open it up and have 0 issues is still amazing. Cascadia vehicle tents have surprisingly great craftsmanship. It is wonderful. The tent is very ventilated. There are so many pockets on the roof, on the sides, that let you open up to let the natural light in, to get airflow in. Overall, I think this is a perfect choice for anyone that wants to step up their game from ground-based to the world of rooftop tents. We take this off the truck pretty regularly, as it is a daily driver. It does drop the miles per gallon down a couple, so we do take it off often to store it in when we're not like winter camping or seasonal camping. It takes at least 2 people to lug it out of the garage, and it is kind of hard to maneuver onto the vehicle. Probably in the future we can discover something that'll let us install it easier, but it does come off the truck pretty often, and it is pretty heavy. I think on Cascadia's website it starts at about $1,100 for the small tent. The big tents obviously can go all the way up to about $2,000 to $2,500 for tents in that size. If you guys were also looking at this is a small, and they go up to a large, and even their Pioneer 2 is an extra large tent, which is basically the whole roof of your vehicle. So this one's nice, small, light, and compact, and very affordable.
Hi, my name's Tony with Backward Adventures. This is my iCamper SkyCamp, I believe 2.0. There's a new 3.0, but mine's still the 2.0. It is a 4-person rooftop tent, Clam Shell. It is our hard shell, but they also call it Clam Shell. We've used it numerous times. We've actually taken it up to Alaska and Canada as well, as with Joe. It is made from, in the United States, and it's made from thicker material, so if you were to open it up, it is blackout inside, which is really nice for being up there where it's constantly daytime. It weighs 165 pounds, so taking it on and off is more of a 3 to 4 person job than just a 1 person. They do cost about $4,000 to $5,000, so about the same price point as Joe's. They're pretty pricey, but if you camp quite a bit, then they are worth the price. It comes with it does have a mattress foam mattress inside, with several plugins, so you can run power if you want to. There are options that you can buy with it, like an inflatable mattress instead of the foam mattress. You can also have tent insulation, which is a separate material that goes inside that you would actually attach to the inside for winter camping, but when we winter camp, one small heater will heat the whole thing and keep it warm, so that's not an issue. I wish it was smaller, but they do sell a smaller version, but since I have a child, there's 3 of us camping, so that's the only bad part, is it's a larger footprint. but you can buy one that's like Jake's, where it is a smaller footprint and you can use a mid-rack. If you have money to burn, then you can buy something like mine. If you're just starting out, I say that because, I mean, you might as well, if you have the money, you can obviously afford it. But if you're really starting out, you should start off with like a smaller rooftop tent. Well, actually a smaller tent, and then move to a rooftop tent, and then start looking at your options as far as clam shells or wedges. The windows have different options because it's a newer model. They're zipped down. You can unzip them. You can put poles if it's raining, so you can have your windows open while it's raining. Or if it's not raining, you can actually, there's pull ties inside, so you can actually just pull the window completely open. And then of course it is screened, and you can actually open the screen as well. So it's actually pretty comfortable. The hydraulics in it are pretty stiff, so it actually stands up to the weather pretty well. And we've had it in really bad rain as well, and just no issues with it at all. I usually keep the tent on.
Stays on through the life of the truck. It never comes off for any reason.
We've only taken it off once to fit in the garage, and after that we've just kind of leave it on.
How'd you get it back on?
It was a 3-person job.
You had to call 3 people over?
Yeah, but as far as running propane, we've never actually had condensation issues. But we do still check the bottom of the aluminum. It's underneath the film itself. I think that's why they actually installed the cork now. So that is a potential fix, is you could actually install like a cork board in the bottom. I don't know how they vent it, but it does a very good job, because when you run propane heaters, it does cause condensation inside the tent.
So after you were done camping in the rain, you just throw everything off together and off you go?
You can throw everything back together, but you still have the issues with any rooftop tent is you have to still dry the material.
There are definitely a lot of different makes and models when it comes to rooftop tents, and hopefully this video has given you a better look into what some different options are on the market. I hope this video has been helpful, or at least interesting, and if it was, we would appreciate you hitting that like button on the way out. Until next time, this is Jake, and we'll see you in the next video.